This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Good Friday morning to you. It's October 17th. Looking forward to the weekend. I'm sure a lot of people will be thinking about the U of L Miami game that kicks off tonight at 7 o'clock.
I want to say, where did October go? It's the 17th already.
I know. Is that shocking to you?
Things going. Yeah, because it's such a great month and there's so many things going on. But Mother Nature may be not cooperating all weekend for some of the fun or leaf raking that we don't want to do anyways.
Oh, don't worry. She'll do the leaf raking for us as we head into the weekend. Brian Good likes to call this a leaf stripper weather, where the wind gets strong enough to just pull all those leaves off the trees for you. But what we're going to be seeing right now to start off the day, temperatures in the 40s and low 50s. We're seeing temperatures ranging from 43 degrees for those of you in North Vernon and into Frankfort, to 53 at the airport in Louisville, 46 for those of you in Paoli, 45 into Litchfield. Upper level clouds starting to make their way into our region. These are going to make for some gorgeous sunrises across the area. Over the next 12 hours, we'll climb into the 70s for your highs, keeping some of those clouds overhead. Now, looking ahead to the weekend, we'll see the wind picking up, especially as we head into the late afternoon and evening hours on your Saturday. And then we'll watch for some strong storms overnight Saturday into early Sunday. For Sunday afternoon, as we dry out, that is when we could see some wind gusts near 45 miles per hour. And these are the reasons that we have the alert day in place for this weekend. So make sure you have that Wave Weather app downloaded, which has the weather, yes, but also the traffic. You know who else has the traffic? Rob, so I send it to you.
Hi, Tawana. Thanks so much. And things looking a little dicey maybe over the weekend if you're going to take a long drive. But you know what? This morning at 7:01, not looking too bad at all. No accidents to report, no major tie-ups. You're looking at a live look. This is 64 at 265. Clear and dry out there. Not a lot of traffic or anything to really report at this time. So we certainly like that. We'll keep an eye on it all throughout the morning for you. Your drive times, Waterston to the Junction, 6 minutes. Snyder to the Waterston, 6. Shepherdsville to Snyder, 8 minutes. So things sail along pretty smoothly out there. All the green on the right side shows that things are clear throughout the metro. We hope it stays that way, and we'll let you know if it does change. There is a heads up, though, for this coming weekend I want to pass along to you. Road closures are going to be set up in Louisville. That's coming up on Saturday as hundreds of runners take part in the city's Urban Bourbon Half Marathon and 5K. Say that 3 times fast. Now, most closures will include roads in downtown Louisville, Butchertown, and the Highlands. It includes West Main Street, Preston Street, Spring Street, River Road, and parts of the Scenic Loop. By the way, those closures, they're going to begin as early as 5:30 a.m. The half marathon will start at 8 a.m. with 5K starting 30 minutes after that time. We have a full list of the closures up on our website. That's wave3.com. Shannon?
Thank you so much. We're waiting to get more information after a celebration turned into chaos after a big soccer game last night. A railing on bleachers collapsed at Wagner High School, and it led to some of the fans and players getting hurt. It happened during the regional semifinal soccer game between big rivals Trinity and St. X last night. JCPS says after St. X won the game in a penalty shootout, celebration in the student section led to a railing of the bleachers to collapse. St. Matthew's Dispatch says there were some fans taken to the hospital. In a new post to the St. X soccer Instagram account, school leaders say they were saddened by the accident and they asked for prayers for the injured players. Wagner is one of the JCPS schools that recently got upgrades to its football and soccer field. Those upgrades included new bleachers, press boxes, and concession stands. We will get you more information when we learn more. LMPD is looking for the person or people responsible for abusing this dog. Animal advocates rescued the dog after he was left to die in an abandoned apartment. Animal advocates say the dog, now named Halo, is lucky to be alive. They believe Halo was forced to stay in a small kennel for a long period of time, and that caused him to lay in his own urine and feces, and it created horrible sores. We have covered those parts up. Halo is recovering with the foster family right now. Good news, he's gained 20 pounds. He'll be neutered next week. The Arrow Fund is an organization that helps rehab abused animals. They've been helping Halo. The executive director wants proper justice for Halo.
Unfortunately, in Kentucky, the laws are pretty minimal. It's very difficult to get jail time, for example. It's usually a fine, and it's just or a slap on the wrist. And those are some things that's part of our mission. We want to change.
Anyone with information about Halo's case is encouraged to call LMPD's anonymous tip line or use their online tip portal. We have that linked on our website. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg wants Edward Harness to keep his job as Inspector General, but Metro Council will have the final say. This would be the second four-year term for Harness, whose legal duty is to independently investigate public complaints about LMPD and police shootings. Harness has been open about his frustrations in getting information and responses from the department. Harness said on Thursday a recent conversation with the city's newly hired independent monitor of police reform gives him reason to believe change is possible.
We are in a new era now, at a paradigm shift as of Tuesday with the signing of the agreement with the monitor. And so all of those activities will be examined by the monitor. So I would expect that there will be an exponential change in the dynamic between our work and the response of the.
Harness says his goal is to open up new informal communication channels with LMPD. The government shutdown will now last until at least next week as a stalemate on a funding package continues in the U.S. Senate. A majority of Democrats are refusing to support the GOP funding bill unless it extends health care subsidies for the Affordable Care Act. After another failed vote yesterday, senators are now set to leave town, so that means Monday would be the next earliest day for another vote. Any funding bill needs 60 votes to pass in the Senate. The shutdown is now in its 17th day, making it the third longest in history. And next week, students across the region will get a chance to look at what kind of financial aid that they can get for college, but there are concerns with how the federal government shutdown could impact that. Let's go back to Rob with the details.
Hi, Shannon. Evolve 502, that's Louisville's access to higher education incubator, will host workshops to help students complete the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA for short. Applications have to be reviewed and then processed by the U.S. Department of Education, which is affected due to the federal government shutdown. Still, according to their website, the remaining Department of Education employees will ensure federally mandated programs like FAFSA can continue to operate according to the department's contingency plans. Within the Office of Federal Student Aid, the department plans to furlough 632 workers. However, the Department of Education says that FAFSA processing shouldn't be impacted by that shutdown. The local group Evolve 502 here in Louisville says that students in need of federal aid should not waste any time in applying. That is why they're hosting those workshops to help out students.
As far as the FAFSA workshops, which is what I'm here to talk about today, there's been no effect, and we're really excited to provide that opportunity for our community. We do have signups for the 5 libraries that we will be at, but if a student is not able to sign up, or if the signups are full, we will be accepting walk-ins at all 5 locations.
The Department of Education manages the government's $1.6 trillion student loan portfolio and disperses funding and grants to schools and individuals, along with other duties related to K through 12 and higher education. Louisville FAFSA Night, individual one-on-one appointments with Evolve 502 staff and partner organizations. Those are going to be available from 4 until 6 p.m. at 5 Louisville free public library locations. Students and their families interested in attending can sign up for a time slot at one of the 5 library locations. Now, if all those slots are full, walk-in appointments will be happily accepted. Shannon, back over to you.
Thank you, Rob. Senator Mitch McConnell is said to be all good after a fall at the Capitol Thursday morning. It happened in the Senate chambers ahead of yesterday morning funding bill vote. The video shows 83-year-old McConnell walking alongside an aide holding onto his arm, but then moments after letting go, you see McConnell then fall. He is helped up by 2 people, and then he turns to the camera and he does wave and smile. A statement from McConnell's office said that the senator is, quote, all good. But McConnell has made headlines recently for some medical episodes, including injuries he sustained from falling, as well as when he appeared to freeze while speaking. In early February, McConnell slipped and fell on stairs near the Senate chamber. He later fell again that same day during the Republican conference lunch. The longtime Republican senator has announced that he plans to retire at the end of his current term. Protests are planned across the nation for an event known as No Kings Day. Some demonstrations are happening tomorrow in Louisville and southern Indiana as well. Rallies are planned across all 50 states tomorrow. Organizers say their message is to show both President Trump and other elected leaders they want change. Organizers say they are trained in de-escalation, and they're working closely with local partners to ensure the rallies stay peaceful nationwide. A previous No Kings protest took place across the country June 14th. That's the same day President Donald Trump hosted a military parade in Washington, D.C., marking the 250th anniversary of the United States Army. It also fell on the president's birthday. Tomorrow's National Move Over Day. It's a day that brings awareness to Kentucky's Move Over, Slow Down law. A survey by the AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety says 60% of tow truck workers, emergency responders, and road maintenance workers have experienced a near miss while working on the roadside. That survey also found 15% of those workers have survived being hit by a passing vehicle. Crews say slowing down and moving over can be the difference between life and death.
That little yellow line you see is basically the area we have to work in, and if you're in that area, that puts us in danger. You know, there's the little saying that when you hear the rumble strip, it means you need to move over. When we hear the rumble strip, it means run like heck.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, more than 28,000 traffic crashes occurred along the shoulder of a road in 2023, and 585 of those were deadly. Well, tonight you can check out an award-winning documentary about a national amputee baseball team, the Louisville Slugger Warriors. Hear all about that film after the break. Hi there. Good morning. Well, tonight is a great opportunity to watch an award-winning documentary about some incredible baseball players. They're a part of the National Amputee Baseball team. They're called the Louisville Slugger Warriors. And joining us right now is Colton DeRocher, the player, David Van Fleet, founder of this team and the general manager, and Rick Redmond, too, Louisville Slugger spokesperson. So nice to see you all.
Thanks, Shannon. It's great to be here this morning.
Awesome. Colton, let me ask you, first of all, what position do you play? And tell me about what happened to you.
So I play center field for the team. I end up pitching a little bit, but it's not necessarily an injury, but I was born with what's considered a congenital birth defect. So that means I was born with one hand, but nobody knew until I came out.
Wow.
So there was no warning of me having it in the womb or anything else. So
I see your hand right there.
Yep.
So how did you then get involved with baseball?
Just kind of a crazy fluke incident where I gravitated towards the ball at a young age, and my parents never stopped me from pursuing it, and they just let me keep going.
That's so awesome. What was it that made you say, hey, we need to have this team here?
Well, I'm a U.S. Army veteran, education and degree in prosthetics, worked for the VA my whole career, and love baseball.
Wonderful. And so how is it now to see this documentary, and how did it come together?
Yeah, it took about 1.5 years to make, but we had a big article in a newspaper, and a director-producer saw it and said, I want that story. And so we filmed it in Southwest Florida at the Boston Red Sox spring training facility, and a couple games and stuff like that. And it's done now, and it's done very well in 2 film festivals.
That's amazing. I know. It's award-winning. I bet it's super emotional.
Yes, it is. It tells their story.
Yes, yeah. And Rick, tonight people can go to the Louisville Slugger Museum to watch it.
It's 6 o'clock. We're going to have a public screening. Today, during the day, we're going to show the film to our employees at Louisville Slugger.
Oh, awesome.
So that they can see it. And they've been familiar with our work with this team for going back 15 years. This all started about 15 years ago when these guys started this as a softball team. And then it morphed into, hey, these guys are tired of playing softball. They want to play hardball.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're doing. But it's just remarkable. They're inspirational. The stories that you'll see in this film are inspirational. And so we invite folks to come on out tonight at 6 o'clock at Louisville Slugger Museum and see this amazing film called Curveballs, Secrets to the Game of Life, because these guys have figured it out. We all face challenges in life, mostly not to the level of these guys have faced, but they have persevered. They've kept their head down. They work hard, they get it done. And so anyone who sees this is going to go, holy cow, man, I can do anything.
Oh, I love that. And also, there's a special opportunity to pick up a nice bottle of bourbon.
Yes, there is. There is.
I got smiles on all of your faces when I said that.
Our Barrels and Billets bourbon experience at Hilrick and Bradsby, right there at the corner of 8th and Main. A couple of years ago, we came out with a bourbon that these guys named. We wanted to do something to help raise some additional funds for the team so they could travel all over the country. And we let them name the bourbon, and I'll let David tell you what they called it.
Yeah, the final name that's on the bottle now is called Against All Odds.
Oh, I love that.
But, we had at least 100 suggestions, and some weren't quite... they weren't good enough to put on a bottle.
Okay. So you can pick up a bottle, and I hear you will sign it, and you will sign it too. That's awesome. Okay, if someone wants to go watch a game, how can we find the schedule?
Well, we just probably finished our last event of the year. We were down at Western Kentucky University in Bowling Green, Kentucky. But we're done playing for the year, but we'll start up again after the turn of the year.
Okay, well, wonderful. I want to watch this documentary. Hopefully, there'll be lots of opportunities to do that.
I hope so.
Yes, well, thank you so much. And thank you, Colton, for sharing your story. That's my son's name, by the way, too. Great name, great name. All right, let's head over to Tawana right now to look at the weekend weather, and we're still watching Sunday.
Yeah, we're still closely watching Sunday. Everything quiet across our region right now. We're keeping an eye on a stationary front off towards our west. It's just going to hang out there throughout the day, but we're mainly focused in on the cold front behind it because that will be the catalyst to the active weather that we're looking at for the weekend. As of right now, though, we are just talking about some upper level clouds overhead. They're making for some pretty sunrises You can see some of these upper level clouds showing up on our SkyTrack camera. The sun about to come up. That happens as we get closer to 8 a.m. But this is just a gorgeous way to start off the day for sure. Temperatures not too shabby. A little bit cooler for those of you further to the east. 41 degrees right now in Frankfurt, but it is 43 in Lebanon, seeing 53 at the airport in Louisville and 51 degrees right now in Jasper. As the day continues, we'll get more of these upper level clouds overhead. Still sunshine beaming through, and highs today in the 70s. For tonight, we're going to keep some clouds overhead initially. Those still look to clear as we get into early tomorrow morning as temperatures return to the 50s and the low 60s. Let's talk a little bit more about what we're looking at for tomorrow, because we have the alert day in place for Saturday night into Sunday, especially for those early morning hours on Sunday. We have to watch that potential for some strong storms. But most of your Saturday dry with a mix of sun and clouds, a bit breezy, and highs in the 80s. Once you approach midnight, that is when the storm threat really looks to go up. So we'll watch that front approaching, bringing us some of those showers and thunderstorms for your Saturday night into early on Sunday morning. That's the batch that really could be severe. That severe threat drops off as we approach sunrise on Sunday. Now, behind the front itself, some additional scattered showers will linger through Sunday morning and potentially even into Sunday afternoon. But as Sunday afternoon wears on, we'll watch the rain, the clouds moving out, and the wind picking up. We still have everyone underneath a marginal risk of severe weather for tomorrow. Damaging winds are the main concern with some of those overnight storms. We also have to keep an eye on that spin-out tornado threat. Keep in mind that this is a conditional severe threat. We just have to watch to see how much energy we have in the atmosphere to fuel some of those storms. We roll into the weekend. The big thing is going to be a lot of that wind, as I mentioned, a bit breezy for Saturday with gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour. Once we head into early Sunday, as that first wave of storms moves in, outside the severe storms, outside the strong storms, we could see wind gusts between 30 and 40 miles per hour, and gusts near 45 miles per hour are possible with that second wave of wind for Sunday afternoon and evening. Once we get into Sunday night, though, the wind will start to relax. Sunday will be a lot cooler, by the way, with temperatures hovering in the 50s and low 60s. We get into Monday, things will be quiet, and then another front brings a few showers on Tuesday, so more of those gusty winds coming our way then. And then for the rest of next week, finally some quiet weather coming back into our forecast. A lot cooler, though. You can wave goodbye to those 70s for a little while because we'll mainly be in the 60s through most of next week. We'll have a lot more after the break.
Well, coming off their first loss of the season, U of L football team has another tough game in front of them tonight. They're going to be in Miami, taking on Miami. For the first time this season, Louisville's the underdog. Miami's currently the second-ranked team in the country. They're undefeated through 5 games. But U of L won on its last trip to Hard Rock Stadium with a 38-31 thriller in 2023. Tonight's game is at 7. You can watch it on ESPN. So as Tawana just told us, we do have that alert date for Sunday. So unfortunately, some events have been canceled. That includes this one, which looks so adorable, Halloween in Highview. That now will not happen. And the Via Colori Street Painting Festival also will only be held on Saturday instead of both Saturday and Sunday. It's definitely worth checking out. More than 200 artists will be showcasing their work on the sidewalks of Waterfront Park near the Big Fort Bridge. That showcase opens at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So you remember Cecil the gorilla, who called the Louisville Zoo home for 26 years? Well, Cecil has now made his debut at his new home on the West Coast. Cecil moved to San Francisco in August and has been gradually adjusting to his new home. He's joining 3 female gorillas who already live at the zoo and will be the only male in the group. Zookeepers say his genetics are a strong match for the female gorillas, so fingers crossed that he will start a family. That would be great. We're going to take a quick break.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Hi there, good Friday morning. This is Shannon Kogan. We're getting new reaction after a celebration turned to chaos after a soccer game between big rivals St. X and Trinity from last night. It happened after the regional semifinal game. It was played at Wagner. JCPS says after St. X won that game in a penalty shootout, the celebration in the student section led to a railing of the bleachers to collapse, and some players and students were hurt. St. Matthew's Dispatch says there were some players taken to the hospital. In a new post to the St. X Soccer Instagram account, school leaders say they were saddened by the accident and they're asking for prayers for the players injured and for a quick recovery. Let's go to Tawana right now. So it's going to be nice today and tomorrow.
It is going to be a quiet day today, and then we start to see that active weather showing up for tomorrow. For right now, we're looking at the beautiful sunrises showing up on our SkyTrack cameras. Temperatures in the 50s and the 40s and low 50s to start off the day. We'll end up in the 70s for afternoon highs as we watch for more of those upper level clouds moving in. For tomorrow, overall, the majority of the day is going to be quiet. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds with highs in the 80s, but we will be watching for some of those wind gusts near 30 miles per hour as the daytime hours goes along. Now, once we get closer to midnight, that is when some of those stronger storms will move our way. We'll keep an eye on some rainfall, especially through the first half of your Sunday. And overall, Sunday looking windy and cooler as we wrap up the weekend. Rob.
Tawana, thanks so much. Things looking pretty good out there for at least the start of your Friday morning. We are keeping our eyes on a report just a few minutes ago about one car accident. This is in the area of 71 South near US 42. No reports of any injuries, but as you get near that area, you may run into a slowdown in that area with first responders. So certainly keep your eyes and ears open for that. Otherwise, drive time's looking pretty good on a Friday.